Hello and welcome to the Ell'Chemist, and this is Soul Talk Sessions with a Scorpio moon.
Rockets on the
day. Hello guys and welcome to episode 7. I'm coming to you today from, what time is it? It's 20 past 8 in the morning on a Monday, 29th of December. The Christmas craze is over and done with, and everybody's now gearing up for the New Year craze. But not me, buddy. I mean, I used to celebrate New Year. I used to love it before I turned into a little astrological girly or spiritual girly, whatever you want to call it. I don't really celebrate New Year anymore. I mean, last year I was in bed by like 10 p.m. because the way that I see it is, you know, there's just so much pressure and everything around New Year. You know, everybody's making their New Year's resolutions and trying to think of all the ways that they can be the best version of themselves by come January the 1st, and, you know, stay consistent with that. And fair play, you know, it's good to have that kind of energy, but I feel like we all struggle, or we all get to like the end of January or halfway through January, or some of us to February or whatever, and then we realise that we don't have the energy to keep it consistent, like especially if we do fail through January. And that's because that's like Greg's calendar, you know. This new year on the 31st of December is from Greg's calendar, the Gregorian calendar, the one that has ruled our life for all of our lives. But really, you know, we've been taken away from the calendar of the seasons. Like, we're still in winter right now, and when it's winter, it's dark, it's cold, you want to stay at home, you want to retreat, you want to recharge, you want to get snuggy. You know, it's being in the darkness. And I feel like we just need to embrace that a little bit more, for it, instead of putting so much pressure on ourselves to completely morph into a different person overnight. Like, you know, with people that do follow astrology and everything like that, you're more likely going to celebrate a new year in Aries season, which is March the 21st, which the spring equinox, you know, it's when spring starts, when the days become longer again, or start getting longer again, and everybody starts to come out of hiding, you know, come out of hibernation that we've been in all through winter, which rightly so, you know, after the spring and summer months and autumn like starting to slow down. It's time to come out again and actually start all of that where you've got the new refreshed energy, because we do move with the seasons of the world. You know, we do move with those, we really do. I think so many of us do forget how connected we are with nature, with the earth, like with the seasons, with the elements. You know, in winter it is long, like shorter days, longer nights, so longer darkness, which means, you know, if you do change the narrative of it, it is a shadow, it is darkness, it's pain, like what darkness is like associated with. We should be embracing that darkness for an opportunity for us to sit with our own, because then again, you know, when that springtime comes back and the days do get longer and it's rebirth, it is renewal, there is still darkness there, but we can balance it better. You know, we're able to stay brighter for longer, but still ease into the darkness when the spring comes. Am I making sense? I feel like I'm just talking shit, and I've had a smoke, by the way, so you might have to bear with me for this one. But, you know, it's aligning your body with the seasons as they are. So, you know, longer nights, longer darkness, which just means staying a little bit longer in your darkness, in the things that need your attention, in the things that you've neglected. And just exactly the same as the season of winter, that feeling is just temporary. You know, you're not going to be staying in the darkness all year. It's not going to become a part of your life. It's not going to define who you are. It's just temporary. It's just an opportunity to actually sit with it, because, you know, throughout the other times of the year, through the spring months, the summer months, the autumn months, we just have a little bit more lightness. This darkness is still there, but there's a duality, there's a balance, and we're just able to embrace the lightness more if we have chosen to sit in the darkness through the winter months for that renewal, for that recharge, for the introspective moments that we've had in the soul searching. You know, we all wonder why our energy becomes so much less during the winter, but it's because we are in tune with the earth. You know, when the night, even with me, with my business, my latest appointment that I offer for a massage or Reiki is 6 p.m. In winter, 6 p.m. feels like 10 p.m. So it gets to like 4:30, 5 o'clock when it starts getting dark. And I'm like, oh my God, I've got a client at 6 and I'm already ready for bed, you know, because my body is shutting down, because it's dark, because I want to retreat. And to think about then showing up to like do body work for someone is really weird to get your head around, because it's like your body is telling you that it's time to shut down and it's time to unwind. So yeah, that's why even like for this new year, like being somebody that is a part of the world, obviously, as you all are, it is hard to get it out of my head that, you know, I don't have to all of a sudden change into someone for New Year's Day, or have all of these plans and ideas and everything for New Year's Day. Like, that still does exist for me. I'm still very much moving. You know, I've got a booking on the 31st and I've got bookings on the 1st, and there's the part of me that still exists in my body, which is like, oh, you've booked massages for like New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Like, what if there's loads of plans? Like, what if all of a sudden I'm going to go out and party and at a bar that's 10 people deep and charging £15 for a vodka Coke, you know? Like, what? I'm not going to do that, and I haven't done that for a really long time, but for some reason it still does exist in me that I'm like questioning myself for going against the grain in some way. Like, why have I booked myself a New Year's Eve and a New Year's Day? And the New Year's Eve appointment is at 5:30 as well, so it's like the evening time, and that I'm still just aware that I'm like questioning why I've done that. But it's like, well, it's just another day. Like, it is just another day. But I am still very much in tune. As much as I try and stay with the seasons, I am still very much in tune with old Greg's calendar. And it's hard not to be, but it's just good to really, really try and change the narrative on it and the perspective, because yeah, just moving with the earth, moving with the seasons, moving with the elements. And when you finally do realise that weather, seasons, anything to do with actual nature, it really does impact your body and how your life is going at that point. You kind of do listen a little bit more, and you kind of do step into understanding it a little bit more, because you're like, oh fucking hell, like this is why I feel this way. It's not because anything is actually going on. It's just because it's dark, and because my body wants to shut down with nature, you know. So yeah, I think obviously after my client New Year's Eve, I'm just gonna do what I normally do, just sit and chill and maybe go to the gym. Who knows? We'll see. But I hope you guys all have a good one. Whether you do celebrate New Year's Eve or not, you know, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's up to you, what you celebrate, what calendar you choose to live by. And obviously it is impossible not to follow the Gregorian calendar, because it is our life. But in the background, in your own little personal life, you can do that. And I know there's loads of people that go to like Stonehenge for the spring equinox and stuff like that. So there are still loads of people that do some sort of New Year's celebration for like Aries season, the astrological year. But even that for me, you know, it's something more personal. Like, I'll just do something personally for myself on that time, and I hope you all do as well. But anyway, moving on from that, I haven't posted a podcast for over a couple of weeks now. I think with Christmas and everything that happened, that's happening, should I say, I guess it's still Christmas season, isn't it? It just kind of slowed me down a little bit, and my focuses and attention has been elsewhere. Like, I've definitely been posting on my Ell'Chemist page more, which is quite interesting about that as well. Like, I've been getting, just even stepping into posting more content and putting yourself out there and stuff like that, you do really realise like all the kind of changes to your thought processes and everything that comes with that as well, and just social media in general. Like, I on my Ell'Chemist page, I've got like 55 followers or something, there's literally nothing, but then some of the posts that I'm making are getting over 10,000 views, and all of this sort of, my page in general is getting almost, I think it's got almost 50,000 views, and I've got 55 followers. It's just absolutely hectic. And then on my SOS therapy page, like my massage page, I've got so many fucking accounts on Instagram, it's mental. But that was going up to like almost, or it was like 70,000 views on my page. But because I haven't been posting as consistently, or I guess I haven't been posting as many reels with me in, like doing the trending reels, my views have gone down loads, and I can feel myself, even though it's still at like 60 odd thousand views on my profile, I can feel myself being like, oh my God, it's not 70,000 anymore. People are going to my page less. And it's like, mate, there's still 60 plus thousand people looking at your Instagram page. Like, oh God, honestly, social media and how it does like get into your brain and affect your brain and stuff like that. Oh, that's not the good thing about it, is it? That's when it starts feeling dangerous. But it's just like it's just really interesting to step into this and just notice all these little things, and then with the Ell'Chemist page, I'm like, oh yeah, getting loads of views and loads of like whatever, not any followers but loads of views, so it gives me more drive to post on there more often. It's such a dopamine hit, it really is. It is genuinely like a drug. It's probably one of the most addictive, most dangerous drugs, and one of the most hardest to get off of. If you think about how you feel when you like lose your phone or misplace your phone, or if you cannot use your phone for a certain amount of time, like you turn psychotic, don't you, to some extent? It's like, put me in a straitjacket in a padded room, because what do you do? What do you fucking do without a phone? Oh, that reminds me, actually. I saw this video the other day. Fuck, it scared me. It was Elon Musk talking to Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he was saying that in around like 5 years, we're not going to have handheld devices anymore. Like, we're not going to have phones. It's just going to be like some sort of electronic device. I'm guessing like some sort of something. I don't know if it's embedded into your fucking body or it's still a little handheld thing, like on Black Mirror, where they've got those little like remotes that rewind back into their memories and stuff like that. If you've ever seen that episode, it's my favourite episode of Black Mirror. It's fucking brilliant. I think it's called Black Screen. No, it isn't, because I'm just thinking about Black Mirror. I don't know what it's called, but it's the best episode anyway. But yeah, he's saying that it's just going to be that, and there's going to be no apps. We won't have Instagram, Facebook, there'll be no Reels, there'll be no TikTok, there'll be no nothing, because everything's just going to be AI generated, and that just comes from our own personal like algorithms. So like AI is going to generate exactly what we want to see. It's going to give us the dopamine that we need, just through like no apps, just nothing. It's just going to give us what we need, and it's not going to be real. It's going to be AI generated. And I was like, what the fuck? No, I don't want that, because I want to see real people. Like, I want to see my friends' reels. I want to see the people that I follow's reels, like the real people doing real things. And I don't like it. I don't like the thought of just everything being AI generated. Even when I'm scrolling through Instagram and I come across a reel that is definitely AI, it makes me feel funny. Like, it really makes me feel funny, just because of how real it actually looks, because it's fucking scary, man. Like, it is scary that something can look that believable and literally just not be real. It blows my mind. It's like that the Instagram account profile, it was on a documentary, I'm pretty sure, a documentary that I watched on YouTube, when they're talking about like how AI is going to take over, and they were talking about this girl's Instagram, and she's got like fucking God knows how many followers. She's one of the most popular accounts on Instagram, but she's fucking not real. She's a robot. She's AI. Like, none of her pictures are real, but she looks so real. There's some pictures that do look a bit obvious, but yeah, otherwise, if you're just scrolling through your reels or whatever and you see like a video or something of her, you wouldn't think that it's AI. It's so scary, and I don't want that. Like, how do we stop that? Surely there's got to be a way. I think just like anything else, when things change, you know, I guess when we moved from VHS tapes to DVDs, loads of people still stuck with VHS because, you know, fucking up the VHS, we love that. But so with this, when all this new devices and no mobiles, no reels, no nothing is being implemented, surely there's going to be loads of people that would be like, no, I want to stay with this. Because I really can't think of anything worse. And it was like saying that there'll be a ban on all you know, like manual cars, like petrol cars, and it's all just gonna be electric cars. I don't want one of those. It sounds like a spaceship. I don't want one. I really don't want an electric car. They actually give me the ick. They give me the ick so bad. I really don't like it. I just don't like all of this stuff. I don't like all of this change. It's really scary. It's too robotic. It's just so unnatural. It actually makes me just feel really uncomfortable. I actually do think that loads of people, you know, like these grounded, spiritual, connected people, you know, there's a potential for some of us to turn a little bit psychotic, I think, from this, because it's so unnatural. It's going to throw so many people out of such a natural state of being, you know, with all of the years that we've put into trying to be connected more to earth and to nature and to ourselves and to spirit and stuff like that, and then to just literally be consumed and overridden with technology and robots and artificial intelligence. It's just, oh God, no. No, I don't want it. I just don't want it. How does everybody else feel about that? It's just, yeah, it fucking scares me. Really scares me. But at the same time, you know, I'm playing into it because I'm like, yeah, Instagram reels and blah, blah, blah. Like, I am so addicted to my phone at the minute. Although I watched a series on Netflix last night called Captivated, which was actually really good, although I did fall asleep through some of it, just purely because I was tired, not for any other reason, like that it was boring or whatever. But, you know, at the end of a Netflix series that you've watched and it shows you like all these other little clips of other things that are on, I was like, oh fuck, that looks good, like everything looks really good. And I've just been saying to myself for so long that there's loads of shit on Netflix at the minute, like nothing's good enough, and all that's ever really interested me right now is Instagram reels, right? And not even TikTok. Like, TikTok pisses me off because it just feels like it's advert after advert, like people selling stuff, and that pisses me off after a while. But Instagram, you know, it's talking to my brain. Like, my phone reads my mind. I don't even have to speak about something sometimes, and all of a sudden the algorithm is just everything that's on my mind. I'm like, how the fuck does my phone know? Like, why are all these reels confirming everything that I feel right now, and I've literally not spoken one word about anything? It's fucking weird. But obviously that's captivating, isn't it? Like, I'm gonna continue to scroll through those to have my thoughts validated. It was like and this is the thing, I don't even think I thought this out loud. No, I don't even think I said this out loud. I just thought it. But you know, when you're dating someone, and because I felt like this with Mr. Ringwood, so, like, I genuinely did, because it was as if it was immediate. Like, when you're dating someone and no one really knows about it, so that people might know that you're like talking to someone, but nobody really knows like how it's going or whatever. And then you meet up with your friend and you're like, oh my God, I need to tell you about this person I've been dating. It's been going so well. And then suddenly it doesn't go well anymore. Like, it's literally as soon as you have spoken to someone else, you have shared your experience with someone else, it's like the next day they're like, oh, how's it going with whatever his name is? And you're like, oh, well, it's not going anymore. Actually, genuinely, immediately after I told you it was going, it fucking stopped. Like, why does that happen? And I was thinking about this in my mind, and then literally opened up my phone to Instagram, and the first video that popped up, the first reel, was like, why is it that when you start dating someone and you speak about them, suddenly it all goes wrong? And it was like, what the actual fuck? Like, is my phone actually reading my mind through my hands or something now? Like, what is going on? Because yeah, no, but also yeah, like, why does that happen? Genuinely, like with Mr. Ringwood, I met up with my one of my girlfriends, and we were talking for some lunch and coffee and that, and we were talking about him, and I was like showing her pictures, and I was saying like how good it was going, and you know, obviously I'd only met up with him like 2 or 3 times before that, and I was like, yeah, I'm seeing him tonight as well, and he's coming around tomorrow, and blah 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 blah. And then genuinely, literally, I swear to God, it was we were still sat at the table having breakfast and coffee, and it was like the next text or whatever I got from him, all of a sudden I just felt the energy change. I saw it, I felt it, and from then it started going downhill. Like he didn't end up coming to my house that night. He cancelled on me because he was too tired. That was the thing as well. And then the next day was when he did come round, and it was when I cooked him breakfast, fucking dinner, and he had a shower, and I gave him a massage and all that shit. And then from then it was just fucking done. And I was like, okay, from now, genuinely, it's gonna be my funeral, and like my husband or my wife is gonna be there, and everyone's gonna be like, who the hell are you? And they'll be like, I'm her husband, or I'm her wife, you know, whoever it's going to end up being. And they'll be like, what? No, you're not. Like, we've known her all of her life. You have never been mentioned. It's like, yeah, that's exactly why we're still together. So nobody is going to know anything. Well, I'm going to say... Shut up. I was literally just about to say, nobody's going to know anything about anyone that I'm dating, even though the next thing I'm about to say is telling you everything about the person that I'm dating, not dating. But anyway, when it's serious, nobody is going to fucking know anything about anyone that I'm dating until I'm dead, okay? That's how it's going to be. But then obviously that's not how it's going to be, is it? Because here I am talking to complete strangers about the people that I'm dating, and I'm going to continue to do that for the rest of my life. So everyone's always going to know. Actually, yeah, no, you're always going to know. That's just it. But that is going to move me very nicely into talking about my dating life at the moment. Oh, and I've just got like so much to say, and it's all like real good stuff, but then there is some sort of uneasy stuff as well. But I am genuinely healing a wound with this person, and it's really nice. Like, I feel like, you know, even though it's really nice in some aspects, and then there are some really triggering aspects as well. And also in the fact that this person that I'm dating, we're not dating to be together. This is like a friends with benefits situation. Like, this relationship is going nowhere in terms of like commitment or long term. However, like, there's a long term view there, in the sense that we're kind of committed to this arrangement or whatever. I don't know what you'd even call it, that we've got like this connection that we do have. There's a loyalty there is a commitment there to some extent, but there is no, as I say, there's no commitment with the expectation of being together forever or anything like that. So it's like, it's a real tough one, but it's also really good. Oh, like, yeah, I'm gonna have to get into it deeper, but what can I call him? Obviously, we've had Mr. Ringwood. Also, let me just tell you, I can't even explain what an ick Mr. Ringwood is for me now in so many ways. Ugh, like, gross. If I was to see him, I think I said this in my last episode, but yeah, if I was to see him, I would feel just absolutely nothing. Like, it's just amazing how you can, like, I felt so strongly about that situation, so strongly. It fucking lasted for someone that I only met up with consistently for a week for. That lasted for like well over a month, those feelings. Like, it lasted up until the point where I met this new guy. What can we call him? Oh, I don't know what we can call him. I have to think of a name. Mr. Fuck knows. I'll think of something. But, you know, Mr. Ringwood lasted up until the point where I met this guy, because I was like, loyal to my delusion. That was my episode. I didn't want to go in with this new guy because I was still holding out for the potential that Mr. Ringwood was going to get back in touch with me and tell me that he'd made a mistake and that he wants to meet up with me again. And, you know, all of that absolute that absolute just craziness. And then even with this guy, like, I was really kind of resistant to it at first. Like, one, because I was staying loyal to my delusion. Two, probably just having too many emotions at once is a little bit too much for me, despite absolutely living in emotions constantly. But also, it was just, I don't know, it was really full on at the beginning. And I think I did touch on this in one of my episodes. Like, it was really, really full on. And I was saying to him, you know, I'm not this person. I just want to kind of get to know you more before we start throwing ourselves at each other. Like, I don't know you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to create like a bit of a connection here. And that actually created some distance between us, which I wasn't necessarily a fan of. But then what happened was, me and this person just kept kind of bumping into each other or gravitating back towards each other. So at one point, I think there was just one day or something that I was like, okay, obviously this person just needs to be welcomed into my life for one reason or another. And that, you know, let's go. Let's see what the reason is. So yeah, we just started to hang out more and actually get to know each other. And you know, it's really interesting between me and this person as well, because I guess there is an element of barrier between us when it comes to communication. But I can probably communicate with him better than I can with other people that I've known all of my life, or that, you know, there's no barrier of communication between us. I can just communicate with him so much better. And what's really interesting as well is that because of this communication barrier that we've got, it's like it's almost impossible for this person to lie. He can't lie. So he's just like brutally honest. And this has been healing for me, or this has been a real like kind of self-recognition moment for me to validate that I do handle truth really well. Because even though this guy, I always say he's like a child, because you know how children will just say things, they're fucking ruthless. Like, they'll be like, you're fat, or you stink, or you look like shit, and they'll just say it. They're being so fucking honest, but they're not saying it with any malice, you know. They're just literally being honest because they don't understand the concept of lying. I love that. That's kind of what he's like. He'll say things like, you've got a hairy face, or like some other random things that he said to me. And I'm like, oh, thank you for your observation. That is good to know. Like, thank you. It's nice. It's nice. And it's even about, like, you know, we've had conversations about, because obviously where I've said in our connection, we know that we can't be together and we don't necessarily want to be together, like, that's not going to happen. But so we're like, so me and you are like meeting up and we're hooking up and whatever, we're talking to each other, we're hanging out with each other. But if somebody else comes along that we start talking to or meeting up with, then we need to stop this. You know, like, we've got that understanding. But then at the same time, it's like, oh, so are you actively looking for somebody else? No. Are you actively looking for somebody else? No. Like, it's a weird situation, because, but like, what I was going to say is, yeah, it's just showing me how well I do actually respond to truth. Like, if even if he is saying, I did speak to a girl today, or I spoke to someone today, you know, that triggers me. It triggers my abandonment. It triggers my feeling of not being good enough. It triggers all of these worries that all of a sudden my person is now in love with somebody else, and they've forgotten about me because I've not been in their life. You know, it triggers all of my wounds, basically, just hearing something like that. But then when you know that the person that is telling you this is telling you because they want you to know and they want to be truthful about it to you, it just feels so different, because there's no like questioning, there's no confusion, there's no wondering more of the story, there's no filling in the blanks. And I'm very, very good at doing that, like filling in the lines in between. And there's no doing any of that with somebody that just speaks so honestly and communicates so openly, with the genuine reason of doing that for you to understand rather than to like hurt you. Some of you may know in the past, in relationships or even in a relationship that you could potentially be in now, but someone will tell you about, I don't know, an interaction that they had with the opposite sex, and they'll be saying it to get a reaction out of you in a bad way. Like, oh yeah, some girl started chatting me up today, or some lad started chatting me up, and yeah, they said, oh, I was really cute, they said I was this. And it's like, oh, right, okay, you loved that, did you? Like, why are you telling me like it's the most exciting thing? It's like, do you need more attention from me? Like, what? But if somebody's like, I'm telling you, somebody spoke to me today, this is how I handled it, I want you to know because I tell you things and blah, blah, blah. It's really nice. It's like, okay, I'm triggered, but I'm just appreciating that this is honest and you're telling me because you want me to understand. I don't know. It's just a really nice feeling. And just to know that actually I do handle truth really well. If somebody can be honest with me, I've been programmed and taught from my past relationships that I can't handle the truth, and that's why people lie to me, because if they tell me the truth then I'm going to fucking flip and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, so they lie. But it's like, no, you get that version of me because you've lied, because I know what the truth is. And even though the truth would hurt me, like I posted a reel on my Ell'Chemist Instagram the other day where it said, I'll forever be a you could have just told me person, because I would rather the truth hurt me than be comforted with lies. Like, even with my ex-girlfriend or my ex-wife, when we first started talking, she, one of the questions that I ask, which is important for me to know about someone, is how long have you been single and how long was your longest relationship? And I ask those questions because I want to know how long someone's been single, how much time have you spent on your own to do the work on yourself, like without dating, without filling a void, between your last relationships. Do you go from one relationship to another? Like, it tells me a lot about someone, so I want to know that question. And or how long have you been in a relationship? It tells me how long you can hold a relationship down. That's rich coming from me, because my longest relationship's been like a year or something like that, 2 years on and off, one of those. I don't have a good response to that question, but I've just had terrible relationships, you know what I mean? But it's just a conversation that you can get into. But anyway, with my ex, the answers that she gave me, she said that she'd been single for 3 years and that her longest relationship had been 8 years. And I was like, what? Oh my God. I was like, amazing. She can fucking hold a relationship down. She's been single for 3 years. Like, this is fantastic, And then a few weeks later, or a couple of weeks later, I found out that actually she'd been single for about 6 months. And if she was telling me that her longest relationship had been 8 years, then technically she would still be in that relationship on that day. As a woman, you go ahead and you do the girl math. And I found all of this stuff out, and it was like, why didn't you just tell me? Like, you could have just told me. And then I found out that she actually still lived with her ex-wife, that she had been married, actually, like not even just in a relationship, she had been married. She was still married to that day, and she still lived with her wife, who was in another relationship. There was this massive story behind it, and it was just like, you could have just told me. You actually could have just told me that, because I wouldn't have cared. Yes, maybe it would have been a little bit like, a little bit triggering. However, I know the truth, so I can align to that. But because you've now lied to me, now I'm aligning to the frequency of fucking uncertainty, and I'm going to be hyper vigilant, and I'm going to be questioning fucking everything that you say now, because you could have just told me the truth. And her reaction was, yeah, but I didn't know you enough at the time. We were still getting to know each other, so I didn't want to tell you like all the deep ins and outs of my life, because I didn't even know you. And it's like, okay, but you told me that you love me 2 weeks into us talking, and also you could have just said that. You could have just said, So I really want to answer this question about how long I've been single and how long my longest relationship has been, but there's a bit of a story behind it. And because we're still getting to know each other, I'd rather just wait until like we've built a little bit more of a connection first before like I get into that. Like, but just to let you know, this is how it is and all's good. I just want to connect with you a little bit more first. I would have been like, do you know what, fair fucking play to you. Like, here's me, an open book. Like, oh, my last relationship was, what was it when I met her? It probably was like almost 6 months to a year ago, and this happened and this happened, complete open book. But if somebody wants to say, oh, I just need to wait to open up, fine, doll. Like, that's so okay. Please, like, I will continue to show you that you're in a safe space to do that with me. But that does not excuse you telling me a lie and running with it for weeks. And then even when I first questioned her about it, she lied still to explain it, and I'm like, okay, so you told me that you've been single for 3 years, but from scrolling down just a couple of scrolls on your Facebook, I've seen that, this is November 2022 that we started talking. And I was like, in July 2022, this year, you have, or your mum has shared a happy anniversary to you and your wife post. So like, this is really confusing for me. Like, that was July this year. You said you've been single for 3 years. And she's like, oh yeah, well, we separated 3 years ago, but we just haven't told our family yet, or we didn't tell our family until we were divorced. But now, like, we're divorced, so we've told our family. We told them after, like, that post. But then it turned out that she actually wasn't divorced yet. She was still going through the divorce. And, like, they hadn't been separated for 3 years. They'd still been dating even at the beginning of that year. It was only the beginning of that year that it actually fell apart. And it's like, you could have just told me. It even got down to a point where she had some shoes arrive once, yeah, and some new trainers. And I was like, she was like, oh, can you pick up these trainers for me? They're going to be delivered. And I'm like, yeah, no worries. So I did. And she's like, yeah, my mum has sent them to me. My mum bought them for me. I was like, lovely. That's so nice of her, cool. And then I just knew she was lying. I was like, she's lying. And so she came home that day and I was like, oh, these are real nice trainers. And I was like, yeah, I spoke to your mum though. She didn't know anything about these trainers. And she was like, what the fuck? She's like, why did you speak to my mum about them? She's like, oh, yeah, I bought them myself. And I was like, okay, firstly, I didn't speak to your mum about these fucking trainers. I just knew that you were lying. And why? Why have you lied about where you bought the trainers? Oh, because I knew that you'd be funny about me buying myself trainers. What the fuck? Do you even know me? Why the fuck would I care that you've bought yourself some trainers? I actually don't care. Like, what narrative have you created in your mind about me handling the truth? Like, and now look at me being all fucking crazy because you fucking lied to me, It's just, just tell the truth. Just allow people to respond naturally, because that's all that telling lies does. It forces people to respond unnaturally, or from their wounded place, or from a place where they're just so unseen, unheard, misunderstood. Like, it's so unnatural. Like, at least if you do tell the truth, even if you respond like, oh my fuck, if your boyfriend, your girlfriend or whatever comes home and says, I've cheated on you tonight. Oh my God, you're going to respond awfully. It's going to be absolutely horrible. But it's going to be the truth. The way that you've responded to that is going to be the truth. It's like the thing that I've said before about your ego and your intuition. Responding with intuition brings you problems now, peace later, yeah? Ego is peace now, problems later, and we all want peace, don't we? We all want peace now, but no, that's what people with like telling lies does. If you tell a lie, it's like peace now, but you're going to get problems later. Tell the truth, it's problems now, peace later, and that's so much more important. Deal with the problems right there and then. Deal with the feeling right there and then of what the truth is, because the lie is only going to kickstart the feeling of investigation. It's going to it's gonna ignite your intuition to start being hypervigilant, start digging, because your body knows if something is a truth or if it's a lie. And that's why we all convince ourselves so much that we are fucking crazy, or we are like insecure or anything like that, because we're also lied to so often, especially in our intimate dynamics, in our intimate relationships and stuff like that. Even in our friendships, we're lied to so often with, the kind of sense of somebody just trying to protect us. And that just sends us into a place of like complete irregulation. Like, we're just not regulated whatsoever. Like, we then start hunting, we then start searching for the truth, and we search for it everywhere other than in the person that is simply supposed to give it to us in the first place. And that's so fucking sad. And all that needs to be done to avoid that is for people to just start telling the truth. Like, it's so easy. And it's even more beneficial for you as a person, because how heavy is it to hold a lie, or carry a lie, tell someone a lie because you think that you're protecting them or whatever, and then needing to maintain that lie. So, little white lies and stuff, fair enough. I don't know, to some extent, we all lie to some extent, but it's when it's something that is really detrimental to the other person, that's just going to be put back onto you as well. It's going to be detrimental to you too, because you have to not only feel and watch the impacts of what that's doing to the other person that you should technically care about, but you're going to then feel the impacts of what that's doing to you, because you have to carry it and consistently remind yourself that whenever this subject or whatever comes up, then it's a lie. It's just easier to just be honest, isn't it? And that's what I mean with this guy. Like, it has just proven to me that actually I do respond to truth really well, and that is really, really important to me. And my body does know and has always known what the truth is, because this is like another thing as well. Say if he does, because he does like to try and wind me up. So say if he's like, oh yeah, I spoke to someone in the gym today, or this girl started talking. If he does try and wind me up with saying something that would be triggering for me, it doesn't trigger me, because it's like, I know that he's lying. My body knows. But like in the past with relationships, if they would have said something like, oh yeah, no one spoke to me today, or no, nothing happened when I went out, I would be triggered by that, because I wouldn't trust their reassurance, because it wouldn't feel like the truth to me, and if this guy that I'm now dating, if he's like, no, like I assure you nothing happened, or that didn't happen, or this, I actually believe it. Like, I know that my body isn't triggered, my nervous system isn't being like, no, you need to look into this further. Like, it just feels calm, and it feels safe, and it feels grounded. So I'm like, I don't feel a type of way about this, even if he's in my house and he suddenly has to leave, because normally he does. He like works a lot and stuff like that. Like, with anybody else or people that I've been with in the past, that would trigger me as well, because I think they're going off to somebody else's house, or they're going off to do this. And 9 times out of 10, they would have been doing that. They would have been doing that in the past. But I just, again, don't feel that with this person. And because I know that it's not the truth, like my body just tells me. So I'm just so aligned with really, really trusting my body right now through this connection. And it's also like, I've got a massive daddy wound. I fucking hate the word daddy, just because of the way that it's been so sexualized. Oh, it's called a father wound. Not a daddy wound. What the fuck? But yeah, I've got like this huge father wound, and he is really healing that. And do you know what? I feel like I've never fully understood the father wound, and it's also sometimes confused me in a sense and weirded me out in a sense, because when people say that they're like healing their father wound, or like, the daddy thing through your intimate partner, I'm always like, what the fuck? I don't really understand, because it's like your dad, but it's like, it's the protection, isn't it? And it's the feeling of being like a little girl, like your little inner child, so safe and loved and cared for, and like admired in a way. And I guess you do want to feel that from your dad. Like, your dad is the first proper masculine energy in your life from the day that you're born. And how that does affect your relationships with men. If you are like a straight woman or a bisexual woman or whatever, a woman that does date a man and you do have a father wound, it's actually mental. And like, I feel like I am only just understanding it more now since dating this guy, because he is healing a father wound for me. Even though, as I say, at the same time, he is still triggering wounds as well. You know, there's some things that he does and says, and like sometimes when he does just up and leave after we've just had like this night together, you know, that triggers me. And because he's a little bit more emotionally detached than what I am, but we're very aware of that. Like, we're aware that I'm more emotionally involved than what he is, but that's just because it's like a natural thing for me, not maybe so much for him. But that's okay. You know, there's still so much respect and everything between us, despite the differences and despite the triggers. There's still so much like respect and understanding, which is what I think makes this such a good dynamic. But yeah, he's healing like this father wound of this just wanting to take care of me. Like, I really, really feel like he does want to do that, you know, despite knowing that he's in my life. So this is what I mean about the father wound, you know, despite him being in my life romantically in a long-term view, in a sense that like we're going to be together. So like the same as with my dad, you know, my dad does provide for me. Like, don't get me wrong, he does, and he always has done. But it's been more material rather than like from a place of, oh fuck, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's just been more, you know, he wants to provide for me. Oh, I don't even know how to explain it. But basically, you know, my dad's not providing for me because we're together and he's got to. He does it because he genuinely wants to. But it hasn't always felt like that with my dad. But with like the guy that I'm dating, almost said his name then, he provides for me because it's like, for me, the energy that I get from it is like he knows that it's his duty. Do you know what I mean? As being the man in my life, like whether or not he is giving himself to me as like completely committed, he's like, but I am still the man in your life, so I am going to make sure you get here okay. I'm going to make sure you eat. I'm going to make sure you're okay. You know, it's something like that. And that's really nice, because it's like, you're not actually obligated to do that, because I can, one, look after myself. Again, like the same as my dad, you know, you're not obligated to do it, but it's nice that you do. But I guess I just didn't really feel that with my dad. But because I didn't feel like I was worthy of it, or I felt like I had to be a type of way or do a type of thing to receive that from my dad. With the guy that I'm dating, I don't, it just feels like that's just his duty, you know, that would just be his duty with any woman that he's with. And because he respects that is what he needs to do as a man in that relationship. And I really respect that, like, even understanding. And also because I've come from a place of like dating women as well, yeah. So like, just the way that I feel about a female and a male relationship now, I just feel like it is so important to have both of those energies, like having a masculine energy. And I don't know if it is because this father wound that I've got. So like, for me personally, I was thinking about it last night actually, like for me personally, I do feel like a relationship with a man is going to be more beneficial for me when it comes to my own personal healing and understanding of relationships and dynamics and stuff like that, because of my father wound. Like, I'm not going to get that kind of healing with, or understanding, should I say, and therefore the evolution, if I have a relationship with a woman. Because as much as they can bring a masculine energy, it's not the same. It's really, really not the same. Like, to be, say if we're just laying up on the couch and like, I don't know, we're scrolling through Instagram reels together, or, you know, we're having a smoke or whatever like that, and it's just like, you know, feeling in their arms and like just the random little kisses on the head or something like that, it's that feeling that as a woman that you get from that from a man is so different as what you would from a woman. Like from a man, it just feels more like protected, and I can't think of the words, but like from a woman, it just feels more emotional. You know, it's still beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It's like that you still feel safe and protective and loved and everything, but it's so different. It's so weird to explain. I feel like only bisexual people are going to be able to understand this when you've had that experience with both men and women. But yeah, for me personally, I just feel like this father wound that I've got, which I'm understanding even more, just runs so fucking deep and genuinely has manifested itself through every single one of my relationships with men, and again, I guess with women. It's being it's being just shaped better through this connection that I've got with this guy. It's just nice, and also feeling like I can just 100% be myself. I think because there's such a strong element of truth and honesty and trust between us, the feeling or the container that's being created, like I've even said to him, like, he just makes me feel safe, and that safety makes it easier for me to just be myself, you know. And you know, he's the way that he is, but he's really interested in my Reiki and the tarot cards and everything like that. Like, he respects my opinions and my thoughts and the things that I'm into, even though it goes completely against what he does. You know, he's still so open and respectful of hearing about it, and I think that's just it's really nice, and it's really important. And I'm talking about that as if, because that is fucking bare minimum, isn't it? But I've just really not experienced that a lot in my relationships, or it's just been so faked. Like, people have been really interested in like the spiritual woo-woo stuff and the birth charts and all stuff like that. But it's just because it's been interesting to them, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're going to fucking meditate now, or you're going to write in your little journal, or you're going to do this. It's just like, oh, okay, that was really interesting to you at the beginning, and now all of a sudden it's my little fucking things that I'm doing. You know, it just starts getting used against you. It's not like that with this guy. So it's just, again, you know, how I said, I obviously handle truth really well. Like, I am safe to be myself. I am worthy of someone caring for me, like, without needing anything back, or without needing to make it like a thing, you know. Like, it's just, I'm just being shown loads of things that is available, and I'm like, fuck, some people are so lucky to have found this already. Like, this safety, that's just the word. I think it's just a safety. And even though at the same time I don't have the safety with him, really, because we're not going to be together. And you know, I know that, and he knows that, and so like there is technically, like, the safety is a bit unsafe, fuck, but it's not at the same time. That, like, in our little bubble, in the thing that it's like and it's even like he's given me that opportunity to do that. Like, I'm healing or going through the transformation in my relationships that I need to with him in order to meet the right person, because I've said to him, I want to be with a man like him. In so many ways, he's got so many things that I really want in a man. Like, he works really hard, and that's really important to him, you know, his work and his success and stuff like that. He's honest, obviously. He is extremely loyal. Like, if me and him were together, he would be so, like, I would never doubt him, you know, despite, I guess, him having a bit of a player energy. He doesn't, like, it's just the energy that he gives off, but he doesn't. And just like the way that he provides, like, the acts of service, like the safe container, the nurturing, like, he's just got so many qualities that I really do want in a man. But then he's also got a few qualities that I wouldn't. But it's like I'm understanding exactly what is important for me in order to move on to the next relationship, that I will just know, and I would have healed so many things, and I will know exactly what I am worthy of, you know, and what I expect to be respected out of me. Because even like with this guy, you know, if something does happen which I don't like or I feel is disrespectful to me or something like that, or my overthinking, any moments that I get where I'm just thinking or feeling a certain thing, I can go to him and say it. Like there's no scare. I'm not scared of approaching him and saying like I feel this type of way or I'm thinking this, because he handles it so well. And the way that he can sometimes be like, why would you think that? Because I've already told you that I'm not going to do that. So like, why are you thinking that? Because I've told you already. And that gets me, because it's like he's so honest about what he's saying, that he's saying like, look, my word to you, I've given it already and you're still questioning it. Like what? And then that makes me go like ask myself some questions, so why am I like, I'm not being provided with any proof or evidence that I need to be questioning this? Like, why am I? It just like, he just makes my thoughts and feelings valid, to be like, okay, well, it's interesting that you're feeling or thinking like that, but this is not how it is for me, and this is what it, it's just really nice. And despite the communication barrier that we've got, like, you'd think that I would have been able to get to this point with any one of my ex-partners, because I'm not approaching it in any different way. I'm still approaching them in exactly the same way of being like, this is my thoughts and my feelings, but it's just been responded to in such a different way because those other people have not had the ability to be honest, or have not had the capacity to handle a mirror being held up to them, I guess. And this guy, he really, really can. Like, if I say to him, I don't like it when you just leave, like, really suddenly, like, I don't like it when you do this, he's like, okay, I won't do that anymore. And he doesn't. Like, I could just say one little flippant thing to him, like, oh, this upset me the other day. And then, like, a few days later or a week later or whatever, something might happen. And I'll be like, oh, you didn't do that then? He's like, well, no, you told me that upset you, so I'm not going to do that. And it's like, oh, so you listened, It's just, it's just nice and validating, and it is what it is. Oh, yeah, and there was this point where, and this is where, I had a little moment of also validating that sometimes controlling the outcome and listening to your body, or sometimes listening to your body means controlling the outcome. And I think in one of my other episodes, I have spoken about controlling the outcome and kind of just letting things play out the way that they should, because controlling the outcome is coming from your ego rather than your intuition, or coming from a place of softness at least, and stuff like that. But for this certain situation, me and this guy, he just like had something happened basically. Well, actually nothing happened really, but something happened that triggered him, and his impulse reaction to that trigger was to tell me that this isn't happening anymore, we can't talk anymore, we're not going to interact anymore, if we see each other we ignore each other, and that's it. And this came after like a day where he had like kissed me first thing in the morning when I'd seen him, and like we'd spoken about all this stuff, like it just come completely out of the blue. And I was like, okay, don't really understand where that's come from, but I'm going to respect and honour your feelings, and no worries, I'm just really confused. And then, the next day it's impossible for me not to run into this guy. Well, I mean, I never used to run into him, but now he's in my life, I run into him all the time. But anyway, the next day I ran into him, and my body, as soon as he sent this message, I was just like, well, no, like, I know that you've seen something, or there's something that's triggered you that you don't like, you're acting impulsively now, you just don't like it, and you're like, no, I'm not doing this. Instead of sitting with the feeling, acknowledging, maybe trying to get a little bit more understanding about what's happened that's triggered you, like, you haven't done any of that, and you've just shut down and fucked off. And I noticed that a lot, not just in my romantic relationships, but with anybody. I notice emotional reactions that maybe are not serving them in another way, in some sort of way. And I'll call that out, and it's not always, so I'll call that out, or I will do something to control the outcome. So if somebody's like, no, fuck you, and I'm like, well, no, I'm controlling the outcome here because I'm not allowing you to fuck off out of my life. Whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. Sometimes when it's come to my past relationships, trying to control the outcome like that, like say with Mr. Ringwood, yeah, didn't hear from him for fucking days, did I? But there's me sending him a message, trying to control the outcome, thinking that I'm listening to my intuition, saying he's thinking about me, he's doing this, he's doing that. It wasn't. It was my ego. It was my desperation. It was my absolute need to connect and feel validated for this feeling. So I tried to control the outcome. I didn't understand the body reaction so much at that point. But with this guy, you know, he sends me this message. I'm very aware that he's acted impulsively. The next day, I run into him, not in a way that I could have had a conversation with him, but later on into the day, I did run into him in a way that I could have had a conversation with him, and I did. I was like, you know, what? Or maybe it was the day after, actually. I think I did see him the next day and it was a bit awkward. Then the day after, it was really shit, like not speaking to him that next day and seeing him and just having to like look away, or, you know, I was like, no, I'm not having this. Like, I'm going to fucking control the outcome because I know that he actually doesn't want this and I certainly don't want this, and that there's just been a misunderstanding here that needs to be addressed. So the next day I ran into him again and I said, you know, let's talk about this. And he said, oh, you know, I said everything that I needed to say the other night. And it was like, no, I don't feel like you have, you know, like something has triggered you and I'd like to understand what it is, because I haven't done anything, like, you know, everything was really good, and like, let's just understand this a little bit more. And he was kind of struggling to, maybe he felt a little bit confronted, but he was struggling a little bit to explain exactly like what had happened. Anyway, I ended up like leave out because it was like, okay, look, you know, we can still be friends, like let's not make it weird, we don't have to ignore each other, like that's going to be impossible, you know, and whatever. But anyway, I went home and he said that he was sorry that he couldn't really explain like everything as much as what he wanted to, but he's just very aware that things that are normal for me aren't normal for him, and so sometimes it could be difficult for him to understand or feel comfortable with things that I just so naturally do because it's just not natural to him. And it was like, yeah, okay, that's absolutely fine. But all that we need to do here is just for you to understand that what's natural to me isn't a danger to you. You know, it's not a threat or it's not anything that you need to run away from. Like, and it was just understanding that. And we had a really good conversation about it. And, you know, we ended up coming to my house and I was like, you know, you sent me that message to say that you didn't want anything to do with me, and now you're here in my house like 2 days later. It's like, do you understand that that was confusing for me, but that, you know, I knew that you kind of acted impulsively? And he's like, yeah, no, I know. And it was like, see, this is where I feel again validated, that I've felt a feeling in my body that's been like, no, that you can't let this happen, this is unfinished, or you know what the truth is here, like follow that feeling. And I did, and it's worked in my favour, like the same way that I just know in my heart that when I've done that in the past, it would have been the same if it was met with the same energy that this guy meets it with, you know, without being so without the resistance, without the deflection, without coming back and gaslighting or saying you're fucking crazy, no, you're off your nut, you are, like, no, fuck off, like, you know, without all of that avoidance. It's just like, okay, well, I was right again, like that feeling that I had in my body, that desire that I had to chase that feeling, I was right, because I was right to do that, you know. And this person, it's like I'm meeting more and more evolved people like every single time. And he's not even that evolved, this guy. He's just open. Like, he's just at a point, I guess, where he is evolving. Like, he is stepping out of ways that he has always acted into a new way of understanding himself and a new way of understanding other people. And, you know, he said to me that he really respects my opinions and my feelings. So I think that when I do like explain things like that to him in a different way, it really does hit home, and it really does land in a place where it's like, oh, okay, like it's not just this way or no way. And it's just nice to be heard, you know. And I guess it's nice to listen as well, and to hear him back. Like, it's just such a nice dynamic there. And that really does just, it really has just shown me that fucking, in order for you as a person, like you who's listening, me, in order for us to be our true authentic selves, or just literally the best version of ourselves, our authentic selves, whether it's the best or the worst version, just authentically the best or authentically the worst, it is just so important. Our environment is so important, from like the building, like the space, to the person, to the sound, to the noise, the sound and noise, that's the same thing, the smell, the views, what you see. Like, environment is just so important. It really, really is. Like, the energy that you are surrounded by will determine whether or not you're able to be authentic or not. And I think now I just know, because say even like with this guy, when it gets to a point where I feel like suddenly I'm losing my authenticity, or suddenly I'm getting triggered into an unnatural place, I feel like I need to cut this off. I need to not do this anymore, because as much as it is healing, it's also triggering, and it's not going anywhere, blah blah. I get into that place, but it's like I understand it, and I'm able to communicate that. Like, I can then say, when you don't respond, and again, it's like, I know that you're not obligated to do this, but when you don't respond, that makes me feel like I just want to pull back, or that makes me feel like I want to match your energy, or it makes me feel like I want to do this. And he's like, okay, I'm sorry, I'll do this then. And it's like, okay, so that's another thing that I can kind of put to the side. That's a piece of my environment that I've picked up, cleaned, and put back in a different place. And it's so important to just be aware of the things that are triggering you, expressing them. Are you able to change it in any way? Literally see it as sitting in your living room, or in your fucking house in general, and you're like, the way that plant is placed, I just don't like it, I need to move it. And you would just get up and you'd fucking move it, and you move it in one place, you don't like it there, you put it in another place, you don't like it there, you put it in one place, and it's there. You do that with like your literal life and body and feelings as well. You get a feeling, you don't like it, you kind of want to move it around, you move it to a couple of different places, or you try a couple of different things, you try talking about it, you try exercising it out, you try doing this, until you find something that just makes it really fit into where you want it. It's like, and that could potentially be at the point where it's just validated through your other person, or through just understanding it better yourself. Like, okay, well, actually, I don't need this amount of response, or I don't need this amount of attention, because this is what the truth is. And now I really like where this feeling that I've got inside me is placed. I really like how comfortable it is now, because I understand it so much better. It looks better where it is. I think that's kind of a nice analogy to look at it. So yeah, I guess I'll just keep on explaining like where this is all going and what's happening with it all. Because we are talking about things that we're going to do in the future, and all of those things are quite, they would be quite serious, they would be quite committed. And I know for sure, well, and this is the thing at the minute as well, somebody else has actually asked me if I want to go out for a drink, and I'm like, yeah, I guess I can, and I should, and I do, but I would feel so bad to do that. I would just, and that's being in this place of now being like, if we're not actually properly dating, we're not together, then we are open to dating other people, but there's emotions involved now, and I couldn't do that. Like, I just can't do that. so it's hard to figure out like how to work around that kind of part of it, because it's like, would I just cut things off with him so I could go on a date with somebody else, and the date with somebody else might be absolute bullshit, and then I've just like called things off with him. It's a weird one. So I don't really know how to handle that kind of aspect of it. I don't know, because it's like, I could tell him, oh, somebody's asked me to go out for a drink. It's just a drink, like, we'll go go out for a drink. But if somebody asked him to go out for a drink, I'd be like, yeah, no. No. No, I don't think I wouldn't like if that was given back to me. So therefore, I shouldn't really bring that energy. Is that how it works? We'll have to sit with that a little bit longer. But I think that kind of brings me to a bit of a close now. I mean, the next time that you hear from me, I might even put this out for New Year's Day. Just I was about to say New Year, new start, but it's not, is it? Because that's Greg's way of thinking about it. It's just another fucking day. It's just January the 1st. Do you know what? It's another interesting thing. Like, you know, when you think about a calendar in your mind, I've seen a video about this. When you think about a calendar, like, how do you see it? Some people see it in like a circle. I see it like going down in a line, like January at the top, February, March, April, May, like it all goes down in a line. That's how I see it, like in a column. But some people see it like in horizontal lines. Let's just see it in a vertical line, or see it in like a circle. How do you guys see it? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to just bring that to a close, I think. Keep you all updated with everything that's going on. And thanks for listening. Thanks for keep coming back. Sorry that I'm being a little bit inconsistent with the posting, I guess. Let's just keep the vibes chill. Like, we can still go inward. We can still recharge before spring. We've still got plenty of time. The weather's still cold. It's probably going to get colder. It's going to get shitter. Even though the days is going to start getting longer, let's just keep all nestled and cozy before spring comes back, and do all the things that we need to do, and not beat ourselves up about just wanting to stay in and chill. But I'll catch you guys soon. Take it easy in the meantime, and drop me a message if there's anything at all that you resonate with in any of the things that I'm saying, or if you've had any experiences that are the same that you want to discuss or you'd like me to discuss. But yeah, drop me a message. Take it easy.
Rockets on the day.